Change the room. Change room change. Room change. Change. Room change. La 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 la. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Today is day 7, day 38, probably. I want to change the way I approach my English practice today. Instead of talking about my personal feelings, I want to treat this manuscript as a laboratory lab, laboratory 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 lab. I want to change the way I approach my English practice today. Instead of talking about my personal feelings, I want to treat this manuscript as a laboratory for English grammar. My daily English speaking practice have officially coincided with my professional work. I am currently proofreading a book about a yogi's journey, and I have decided to use the first 5 pages as raw linguistic material. As a proofreader, my task is not to admire the story, my task is to understand how the language works. Let's start with tense consistency, which is the most important structural rule in this text. In the first 4 pages, the author is telling a story. Because of that, the dominant tense is the past simple. We see verbs like was, arrive, live, vowed, and practices. The verbs locate the event firmly in a completed timeline from a grammatical perspective. This tells the reader this had already happened. However, on page 5, something interesting happened. The language shifts. When the author begins describing the nature of the mind, the verbs move into the present simple. We say sentences like the mind is restless or truth lies beneath the surface. This is not a mistake. It is a deliberate grammatical choices. In English, the present simple is often used to express universal truths, not events. So the grammar itself tells us that the text has moved from history to principle. From a linguistic standpoint, the tense become a signal for meaning. Next, let's talk about word classes, especially a verb and adjective. Adjective, especially a verb and adjectives. On page 4, there is a phrase, living simply simple. From a grammatical perspective, this contains an error. In English, a verb modifies a verb. while an adjective modify a noun. The word here is living. The word here is living, so its partner must be an adverb. That partner is simply. The word simple have no grammatical role in that position. As a proofreader, my job is to act as a gatekeeper for word classes. When I see a word, I ask where is adverb. When I see a noun, I look for an adjective. Adjective. Grammar is not about memorizing rules. It's about recognizing patterns. Another important issue in these pages is redundancy, or what linguistic call lexical repetition. On page 1, the word cortege appear repeatedly in a short page. In a short space. While repetition is not always wrong, the exercise repetition creates a rhythmic problem in English growth. As a group reader would suggest alternatives such as the shelter, the cabin, or referential pronoun like it or this structure. These substitutions help the text breathe. From a linguistic point of view, redundancy is not a moral issue, it's a mechanical one. Too much repetition overloads the reader's auditory processing. Too much repetition overloads the reader's auditory processing. Now, let's look at punctuation and spacing, which are often underestimated. In the manuscript, there are instances like read, I, where a space after the full stop is missing. This may seem trivial, but linguistically it matters. English rely on visual spacing to signal cognitive pauses. Missing space after a period create a visual congestion. The sentence becomes harder to proceed, even if the grammar itself is correct. Punctuation, in this sense, is not decoration. It is a system of timing. It is a activity. Cover your stop if not, it is. Finally, I want to talk about proofreading as a linguistic practice. Proofreading is not only about finding errors, it's about understanding the logic that governs language. Hence, control time, adverbs control action, pronoun control references, punctuation control rhythm. When these systems work together, meaning travel cleanly from writer to reader. When they fail, distortion occurs. That's why grammar is not dry. It is an engineering system. It is the code that allows ideas to move between minds without wrecking. As I continue proofreading the remaining page, I am no longer just reading a story. I am studying how English organize reality. This is how I want to continue my English practice, not by chasing fluency, but by understanding the structure beneath it. Tennis. Let's read the book again. Blood Meridian. Okay. A light breeze stirred the front of his hat. His metal greasy hair, his eye light dark and tunneled in the cavern and haunted face, and false stench rose from the well of his boot top. The sun was just down, and now the sun was just down to the west. Lay green or blood red clouds, out of which rose little desert night tall like fugitive from some great fire at the earth, and he spat a dry white spit and clubbed the cracked wooden stir up against the mule rib, and they started into motion again. He went down a narrow sandy road, and as he went he met a dead cart piled out with a load of corpses, a small bell tolling the way, and a lantern swinging from the gate. Three men sat on the boards, not unlike the dead themselves, all spirit folk, so while they were with lamb and nearly fluorescent in the dust. A pair of horses drew the cart, and they went on up the road in a faint mismatch of catholic and passive from sight. He turned and watched them go. The naked feet of the dead jostled stiffly from side to side. It was dark when he entered the town, attended by barking dogs, Faye parting the curtain in the lamp-lit window, the light clatter of the mill hoover echoing in the little empty streets. The mill sniffed the air. The mule sniffed the air and swung down an alleyway into a square where they stood in the dark starlight as well, a smooth hitching rail. The kid eased himself down and took the bucket from the stone coping and lowered it into the well. A last echo. He drew the bucket, water dripping in the dark. He dipped around and drank, and the mule nuzzled his elbow. He dipped around and drank, and the mule nuzzled his elbow. Oh, wait, I read that already. When he done, he set the bucket in the street and sat on the coping of the well and watched the mule drink from the bucket. He went on through the town leading the animal. There was no one about. By and by he entered a plaza, and he could hear guitar and a horn. At the far end of the square there were lines from cafe and laughter and high-pitched cries. He led the mule into the square and up the far side that along portico toward the lights. There was a team of dancers in the tree, and they wore gaudy costumes and called out in Spanish. He and the mule stood at the edge of the line and watched. Old men sat along the tavern wall, and children played in the dust. They wore strange costumes on. The men in dark flat crowed hats, white nightshirt, trousers that buttoned up the outside leg, and the girls with ragged painted faces and torn seashell combing their blue black hair. The kid crossed the street with the mule and tied it back and entered the cafe. A number of men were standing at the bar, and they quit talking when he entered it. He crossed the polished clay floor, past a sleeping dog that opened one eye and looked at him, and he stood at the bar and placed both hands on the tile. The barman nodded to him. Gee, Gigi, Gigami, he said. I ain't got no money, but I need a drink. I will fetch out the slop or mop the floor or whatever. But I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money, but I need a drink. I will fetch out the slop or mop the floor or whatever. The barman looked it out. The barman looked at across the room to where two men were playing dominoes at the table. A burrito, a burrito, a burrito, he said. The older of the two raised his hand. Where is el muchacho? The old man looked at the kid and turned back to his domino. The barman shrugged his shoulder. Shrugged his shoulder. The kid turned to the old man. You speak American? He said. The kid turned to the old man. You speak American? He said. The old man looked up from his plate. He regarded the kid without an expectation. Tell him I'll work for him. Tell him I will work for a drink. I ain't got no money. The old man shrugged his chin and made a clucking noise with his tongue. The kid looked at the barman. The old man made a fist with the thumb pointing up and the little finger down and tilted his hand back and tipped a phantom drink down his throat. Pressure una copa, he said. Pedro no pude pagar. Jesus. The man at the bar watching. The barman looked at the kid. Where Baggio, said the old man. Where's that? He turned back to his pieces and made it play without further consolation. Where Baggio, said one of the men at the bar. They began to laugh. What are you all laughing at? Said the boy. They stopped it. Some looking at him, some pursed their mouths or shrunk. The fuck is that word? How you pronounce that word? Shrug, and shrug. The boy turned to the bartender. You got something I could do for a couple of drinks? I know damn good and well. Wait. You got something I could do for a couple of drinks? I know damn good and well. One of the men at the bar said something in Spanish. The boy glared at them. They winked one to the other. They took up their glass. He turned to the barman again. His eyes were dark and narrow. Sweep the floor, he said. The barman blinked. The kid stepped back and made a sweeping motion. A pantomime Spanish drinker in silent mirth. Swept, he said, pointing at the floor. No estás sucio, said the barman. He swept again. Sweep, god damn it, he said. Sweep the floor, swept. Well, I know I look a bit crazy right now, but I'm totally normal, guys. I'm totally normal. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee that. A little bit. Sweep, he said, pointing at the floor. Wait. Sweep, god damn it, he said. The barman shrugged. He went to the end of the bar and got a broom and brought it back. The boy took it and went on to the back of the room. A very horrible, a very horrible a place. He swept in the corner where the portraiture stood silent in the dark. He swept around, he swept around the spittoon, and he swept around the players at the table, and he swept, swept. I think they swept, sweep and swept, swept. And he swept around the players at the table, and he swept around the door. He swept along the front of the bar, and when he reached the place where the drinkers stood, he straightened the head up and leaned on the broom and looked at them. They conferred, silent among themselves, and at last one took his glass from the bar and stepped away. The other followed. The last swept them to the door. The last swept past them to the door. The dancer had gone. The music across the street sat a man on a bench, dimly lit in the doorlight from the coffee. The mule stood where he tied the tap of the room on the step, and came back in and took the room to the corner where the barman had gotten it. Then he came to the bar and stood. The barman ignored him. The kid rapped with his knuckle. The barman turned and put one hand on his hip and pursed his lips. "How about that drink now?" said the lad. The barman stood. The kid made the drinking motion that the old man had made, and the barman flapped his towel eerily at him. Adelia, he said. He made a shooing motion with the back of his hand. The kid's face clouded. "You son of a bitch," he said. He started down the bar. The barman's expression did not change. He brought up from under the bar an old-fashioned military pistol with a flintlock and showed back the cock with the heel of his hand. A ray wooden clicking in the silence, a clicking of glasses all down the bar. When the scraping noise, then the scraping of chair pushed back by the player at the wall. He broke it. Old man, he said. The old man didn't answer. There was no sound in coffee. The kid turned to find him with his eyes. "Está borracho," said the old man. The boy watched the barman's eyes. The barman waved the pistol toward the door. The old man spoke to the room in Spanish, then he spoke to the barman. Then he put on his hat and went out. The barman face drank. When he came around the end of the bar, he had laid down the pistol and he was carrying a bung starter in one hand. The kid back to the center of the room, and the barman labor ran over the floor toward him like a man on his way to some call. He swung twice at the kid, and the kid stepped twice to the right. Then he stepped backward. The barman rose. The kid pushed himself lightly over the bar and picked up the pistol. No one moved. He racked the resin, opened the bar top, and dumped the revolver out and laid the pistol down again. Then he selected a pair of full bottles from the shelf behind him and came around the end of the bar with one in each hand. The barman stood in the center of the room. He was breathing heavily, and he turned, following the kid's movement. When the kid approached him, he raised the bung starter. The kid crouched slightly with the bottle and fainted, and then dropped the right one over the barman's head. Blood and liquor sprayed, and the man's knees buckled, and his eye rolled. The kid had already let go the bottle net, and he pitched the second bottle into his right hand in the road gravity path before it even reached the door. Before it even reached the floor, and he backhanded the second bottle across the barman's skull and crammed a jagged Bremen into his eye, and as he went down, and crammed the jagged Bremen into Raymond. Renan, a small piece of a mouse, something else. Ooh, remnant. The jacket remnant into his eye as he went down. The kid looked around the room. Some of those men wore pistols in their belt, but none moved. The kid followed the bar and took another bottle and tucked it under his arm and walked out the door. The dog was gone. The man on the bench was gone too. He untied the mule and led it across the square. I need to eat. Jesus.